from search and rescue operations to the spontaneous discovery of fossils and possible crimes, drones have been responsible for some intriguing revelations. A drone is a flying robot that uses cameras to take photos or record videos in the air. This allows them to access areas that are out of people's reach, and as such provide amazing aerial views of towns, mountains, or even seas. Drones are like magical flying devices that help us to spot missing objects. In some cases, they are even being used for delivery of items right at our doorsteps. These drones, unlike any other, have taken images of everything, including scary places and weird things around. Now they are revealing these horrifying images to us. So brace yourself up, it could be surprising and even scary. History of drones. A drone, or unmanned aerial vehicles (UAV), is an aircraft that flies without an onboard pilot. They can be automated drones. These aircraft can fly over long distances without stopping and always keep at a specific level of velocity and height. Also, these planes are applied in various aspects of aviation. During the First World War, the first pilotless vehicles were invented in Britain and the USA. In March 1917, Britain's aerial target, a small radio-controlled aircraft, underwent its first trial. An American aerial torpedo called the Kettering Bug took off for the first time in October 1918. They were not used in the war, despite their successful demonstration during test flights. In the interwar years, they continued developing and testing unmanned aircraft. In 1935, the British manufactured some radio-controlled planes for training target practice. There is a belief that the term drone began to be used around this period due to the name of one of these models, which was called DH-82 Billion Queen Bee. The United States also produced drones for target practice and training. In the Vietnam War, they deployed large quantities of reconnaissance UAVs. This was the first time drones started being employed for other functions. For instance, they acted as decoys during warfare, launched missiles at stationary objects in war zones, or dumped pamphlets while conducting psychological operations. After the Vietnam War, several nations outside Britain and the United States set out to explore unmanned aerial tech. These new models were also more sophisticated, having more endurance and being able to maintain greater altitudes. Additional designs have been made in recent times that employ technologies like solar power to address longer flight times without needing fueling stops. Drones have been used in many ways, including monitoring climate changes, searching for people after natural disasters, photographing and filming, and even delivering goods. Nevertheless, their most popular application is with the military, who use them for spying, tracking, and striking targets. They are mostly used in areas and terrains where troops cannot go safely for surveillance. However, they are also used as weapons, and even suspected of killing militants. However, it's been questioned whether or not such weapons should be used, especially under circumstances resulting in the deaths of innocent civilians, when they miss their targets due to wrong information, or when they are too close to them. Help in research. Drones may have various payloads or sensors depending on their purpose. This includes digital cameras for recognizing flora and fauna, enabling 3D model generation, infrared sensors that detect infrared radiation emissivity emitted by different heat sources such as animals or moisture content in the soil, hyperspectral sensors that detect unique signatures associated with Earth elements against reflected sunlight spectra beyond what human eye perceives only within the visible range. The distance, which is measured as the time taken for a light pulse emitted from the sensor to get to the target and back again, is called light detection and ranging, also known as LiDAR. It aids in coming up with three-dimensional topographic maps using altitude point data. Drones are used in monitoring flood-prone rivers. They also designate spots where trees are unlawfully cut. In addition, they can track algal blooms and saltwater influxes. Moreover, they can classify plants or detect tree diseases in forests. Drones are being employed in spotting methane leaks within oil and gas production, as well as monitoring wind and solar installations. Drones have been able to monitor marine conservation areas through effective enforcement, track sea mammals, and count wildlife populations. Recently, it was revealed by Duke University that conservation efforts by using drones have caused gray seals to return to the New England and Canadian coasts. A Massachusetts-based whale conservation organization used drones flying at low altitudes above whales to capture spray that came from the creature's blowhole, and then analyzed the collected DNA for microbiome information, as well as stress and pregnancy hormones. The same drones are employed today for surveillance against poaching, while monitoring endangered animals and species too. Although using drones to conserve animals might appear like an appropriate action, there are very limited studies that have been undertaken so far. It was found out during a study about bears that these mammals get worried or anxious when they sense drones. Therefore, too much use of these devices can also affect their behaviors negatively. Some scientists who work at Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory, which is under Earth Institute, have shown that they are exploring new research frontiers using drones. Einat Lev, an assistant research professor at Lamont, studies volcanoes to enhance the prediction and assessment of eruption hazards. Using a camera-equipped drone, she took thousands of pictures of the 2014 and 2015 lava flow at Hólmar volcano in Iceland, which is one of the biggest lava flows ever recorded. The flow of lava was still unstable and warm when Lev and his colleagues visited the volcano soon after it had erupted. The photos are being used for making a 3D digital topographic map of this deposit. The main vent topography was scanned with LiDAR, and a thermal camera recorded temperatures around fissures and hot springs. At Columbia University's Mailman School of Public Health, Lamont Doherty and Marcus Hilpert, an associate professor of environmental health sciences, have formed a partnership to design a drone for assessing the emission of air pollutants from industry smokestacks. Information on air quality has traditionally been derived from measuring air near the ground. However, drones will now allow these experts to collect information about pollutants in the atmosphere at various heights to study how they behave when released into the environment. Without a drone, it would be difficult and dangerous to gather this kind of information. Even though drones are in constant improvement in size, cost, and range of capability, there are some downsides to their use in scientific research. Consequently, only those which are visible to the pilot or are controlled by an operator standing at a point can be used for this purpose. The big ones, on the other hand, require a lot of people to manage them and technical expertise to operate them. Let us now uncover the shocking discoveries made by drones. 1. Drone captures Indian man on cliffside. A man named Babu had been trekking with some companions when he slipped on Charade Hill and found himself stuck on the edge of a cliff at a gorge. He attempted to get out but ended up getting stuck for 48 hours because of the scorching sun, biting cold at night, and fear of wild animals. The effort was made for him to be saved by using helicopters. However, local administrative authorities failed to act accordingly. The military had to come to his rescue once the chief minister intervened. Babu was found by the soldiers after a heroic mission, given a drink, and taken up to the mountaintop very securely. A drone captured the moment Babu was saved. Babu's story was as happy in its end because of the army's bravery as against 127 hours. 2. An uncontacted tribesman captured by drone. In the Amazon rainforest of Brazil, there lives a man by himself, who is often called the loneliest person alive. He is the last survivor of his tribe who disappeared in 1995. Within the Tinaru indigenous territory, surviving on his own with only an axe he made himself, he wanders about, and by allowing drones to patrol it, the government of Brazil monitors him to live his life that way. He survives by hunting and farming, and no one knows his language, race, or name, and therefore he is generally known as the Indian of the whole, since he lives as the last descendant of a lost tribe. 3. Saving lives in the dark with drone. A person disappeared in Avon, Somerset, in April 2021. They were searched by the police using 3 words in WhatsApp chat. In the cold, foggy countryside of Avon, the rescue team used a thermal imaging drone. The missing person by the riverbanks was located by the drone in pitch black night. With the exact location, it helped the rescue teams to find the person. At lightning speed, they went and saved the individual. By using a drone, Avon Fire and Rescue saved lives. The drone hovered above, providing assistance and hope in total darkness. 4. Freezing car crash victim saved by police drone. An automobile flipped over close to Grimsby on the A16. Policemen hurried to the place using a unique drone with heat-sensing cameras. The driver was detected 160 meters away in a ditch due to his body warmth. He would have died if the police had not arrived at the scene on time. The drone captured this wonderful rescue on tape, showing how important technology can be when most needed. The infrared camera was crucial for finding the injured driver in challenging and dark terrain and ensuring prompt help for him. Using advanced equipment, like drones, is necessary for saving people's lives during accidents. 5. Valiant journey uncovers burning secrets. A visit to Vanuatu's lava lake. Sam Kosman, who is 33 years old and lives in San Francisco, started a fascinating adventure to take pictures of the fiery bottom of a lava lake at the Imbrium volcano. Equipped with state-of-the-art devices and strong resolve, Sam and his team entered the Miram crater located on Vanuatu's Imbrium Island, as he desires to study the invisible unknown concerning the microbes in such a place. Miram. Even as falling rocks and poisonous gases were present, they used drones and sensors to explore. Their groundbreaking research could alter scientific understanding and shine a light on volcano eruptions. They were able to come back safely, having faced all the dangers of the environment, including those from lethal gases, consequently showcasing how powerful human curiosity together with technology is. 6. Unknown pensioner discovered safe in overgrown field through drone rescue. Roy Giblin, 82, went missing while strolling. His family was very concerned, not knowing where he was. Several groups looked for him, and they were so relieved when Roy was found near a railway station by a police drone. It flew lower and took very clear pictures of him. They found Roy after 18 hours and were relieved after finding him. A police drone was responsible for saving him. From this incident, it is seen how much life-saving technologies are important in the current world. 7. Drones captured hidden radiation hotspots in the red forest of Chernobyl. Surprisingly, hidden hot radiation spots were discovered in the red forest of Chernobyl by drones, which contradicts previous estimates. Though fresh hotspots are very radioactive, they worsen contamination in the area. There may be a varying scale of dangerous radiation zones marked out by accurate drone mapping. These discoveries have led to updates in radiation maps, so they are more useful to tourists wanting to know the safest paths through these regions. Unearthing new hotspots not previously known and highlighting further environmental consequences of the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Drones remain important research instruments within Chernobyl still. 8. Drone captured uncovered ancient henge monument in Ireland. During 40 days of drought in 2018, Anthony Murphy, who is a photographer from Northern Ireland, made an extraordinary find. Utilizing a drone camera, he discovered what was left of a henge monument that was approximately 5,000 years old, but had been hidden below the dry earth surface. This happened because the drought exposed it before disappearing completely, thereby showing its outline from an aerial perspective. According to ancient history, it was used by the people as a meeting point. The discovery has the potential to make a considerable contribution to the UNESCO World Heritage Site, according to Chief Archaeologist Michael McDonough, and he described it as a unique opportunity to enhance our knowledge of the region's history. 9. Drone encounters a cruel shark hunt. A shark was caught on film by a drone that belongs to the Discovery Channel as it hunted through murky waters. It shows the shark chasing its prey from an aerial view. Against the ocean's current, a seal swims towards trouble. In an unexpected move, jaws open, releasing a disruptively huge volume of blood as soon as it makes contact with its victim. This scene is a perfect illustration of the fact that nature can indeed showcase cruel habits. This depicts the unadulterated reality of life and death in the water, despite the opinions of experts. While some creatures watch helplessly, innocent creatures become victims. 10. Drone finds remains of 1965 aircraft crash. A highly advanced underwater drone found a plane that had crashed into Folsom Lake in California in 1965. The Piper Comanche 250 disappeared one New Year's Day, which was followed by a crash site whose cause is yet to be identified. Despite earlier searches, the aircraft and its 3 passengers had been lying below the water's surface. The technicians from Seafloor Systems surveyed to discover the remains of the airplane using the technique called sonar mapping. The relatives of those who died were able to find closure when they saw clear images of the plane taken by a drone, so that it was proved to be the same one. The location was not even close to where it crashed long ago, but it puts to rest a question that had been asked for 56 years. It was discovered at a depth of 160 feet. The solution to the long-standing mystery is sweet mingled with bitterness. 11. Kivas, New Mexico desert. Beneath the barren New Mexican desert are the remains of an ancient Pueblo society that thrived about 1,000 years ago. For about 20 years, John Cantner, an archaeologist from the University of North Florida, has been studying the red sands for the ancient religious structures called kivas. Cantner had discovered some kivas over his 2 decades among the dunes, but finding such underground structures on foot was laborious and slow. Just like a lot of other archaeologists, he opted for drones, a technology that is currently transforming his field. By employing drone surveillance and thermal imaging, he managed to focus on delicate temperature changes that occur as the building heats up and cools down. Several times before sunrise, when the desert was in its coldest state, the team shot flight to have its drone with 8 rotors operated. Drones, in combination with LiDAR technology, offer a new field for researchers since they help create high-resolution maps and expose concealed features that cannot be identified otherwise. 12. Marijuana farms. Italy, in the countryside near Ravenna, a city in northeast Italy, an unmanned drone that was analyzing earthquake damage made an unexpected discovery: a marijuana plantation hidden in some bushes. Police said they had also found an accurate system for irrigation and illumination and seized a total of 182 plants. This drone was controlled remotely to confirm whether or not the buildings damaged by an earthquake in May 2012 were stable. How do drones capture images of mountains? Drones featuring enclosed cameras are capable of capturing images of mountains. They are just smaller versions of those cameras found inside our mobile phones and typical digital cameras. As a drone is flying over the mountain, its camera records images or videos. This is like taking a photograph from very high up. The movable drone camera can capture mountains in all their different angles. Before taking off, you can see an individual controlling the drone using a remote controller or maybe a smartphone application. Therefore, anyone can direct the drone up, downwards, towards the left side or the right for an ideal shot. From there, they can either be onboarded in the drone or sent back to the ground controller in the form of photos or videos. Once it safely touches down again, people will have the option of sharing these images on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, etc. apart from checking them through their PCs. Are drones safe to fly in mountainous terrain? Although drone operation is hard in mountainous regions, it can be done safely if proper safety measures are implemented. In such environments, the drone should be fitted with smart sensors, as well as navigation systems that can detect obstacles ahead of them, thus making it easier for them to pass through rough terrains such as alpine regions without crashing. The harsh weather conditions should be borne in mind by the pilots when deciding whether or not they should take off, and should also observe safety regulations. Hilly places typically have strong winds and erratic air currents which can impair drone stability. Weather forecasts should be checked by the pilots and they should avoid bad weather and high winds. The uneven ground may also be hazardous for drone operations, such as trees and rocks that may block their way. Pilots operating the drone must make sure that they can visually see it at all times and be prepared to move in case there are obstacles. The altitude and low-pressure air in high places should also be considered, as they affect the way drones work. Increased altitude can lead to diminished flight time and lesser flight stability for drones. Pilots must know what their drone can do and then tailor their tasks accordingly. In general, it is possible to cautiously fly drones in areas with undulating topography so long as one is careful enough, follows safety regulations, and takes into account the challenging nature of the landscape. Other important discoveries. Archaeologists have recently found ancient paintings on the Spanish territory's caves' walls using drones. By applying drone technology, researchers managed to collect information quickly about some unusual paintings that appeared on walls in the hard-to-reach caves of eastern Spain. The finding was reported by Alicante University's team through a statement they issued. The article containing these researchers' findings was printed last month in the Spanish scientific journal named as Lucentum. According to the statement, the project allowed easier inspection of areas which could otherwise only be reached by opening complex access routes climbing. The team reported that their first results were found within a few days after flying drones over a quarry situated at Penagila Town Council in Alicante. In the statement made by Francisco Javier Molina Hernandez, an archaeologist at the University of Alicante, he said it is no secret that there are many clans around here who used to do ancient paintings. A large number of painted figures in various styles, including goats and deer injured by arrows, which were verified on the site by the climbers, were evidence for it. Hernandez, who was nicknamed Indiana Drones by the Spanish press, conducted the study together with two other archaeologists, Virginia Barciela and Zemo Martorell Briz. Molina informed CNN on Tuesday that they had once put their lives at risk to gain entry into cavities situated in rough terrains, therefore drones seemed like a great option. In addition, some caves have never been explored due to their geographical inaccessibility. The reason for this is that many of them remain undiscovered and unvisited because they lie deep into areas where it seems impossible for men to reach by conventional means. According to the researchers, this discovery ranks among the most important Neolithic rock art sites ever found in recent years in the Valencia region, attributable to the great number of figures seen here. Molina commented on new cave paintings discovered in a similar cave that prehistoric man had, possibly developed advanced climbing techniques like the use of ropes or wooden scaffolding as seen in the analysis report. He argued that the caves might have been ascended for several reasons, such as the relationship between some caves and sunrise or seeing some territorial lands from them. Molina mentioned that the team would use more potent drones to produce better quality images and extend their research to other areas of Spain, Portugal, and more parts of Europe. There was another great discovery when Anthony Murphy and Ken Williams found a huge previously unknown monument close to Newgrange while flying their drones over the Boyne Valley in July 2018. According to archaeologists, they discovered a late Neolithic henge monument that measures approximately 154 meters across and other many intriguing structures. The finding went viral on the internet and was in all news headlines worldwide. In the weeks and months that ensued, a huge fascination was mounted around these monstrous remains from ancient periods. Scientists scrutinized the drone pictures while the National Monument Service itself had its helicopters fly over Bruna Boni World Heritage Site to get a better view of its intricacies. Anthony Murphy recounts the incredible find of the monument in his book called Dronehenge, while also trying to clear up some of the associated enigma. Anthony discussed the series of events that ensued following his first social media post on the discovery. He spent 3 weeks talking to different media outlets such as BBC, Channel 4 UK, CBS News, Washington Post, New York Times, National Geographic, NPR, La Repubblica, and Al Jazeera TV, among other channels, while doing phone interviews, emails responses, and participating in Skype calls. Stonehenge is lavishly illustrated with explanations about the possible ways through which the monument could have been built and its probable uses, as well as providing how it most likely appeared through 3D models. He sheds light on how the surrounding features alter our perception concerning the Bruna Boni environment's topography, and the reasons why future researchers will spend ages trying to interpret them. Anthony Murphy states the world has dubbed Dronehenge a remarkable find in recent archaeological studies. It is intriguing to think that something so enormous and old could have remained hidden from sight for so many years, only to be unveiled in such a sudden and dramatic fashion. The images captured by the drones show incredible detail, and yet those images reveal just a phantom, manifesting as a variegated wheat crop. There is, undoubtedly, an enigmatic and even numinous quality to its uncovering. The Lenin-shaped Siberian forest. A U.S. news outlet has revealed that a drone photographer from Russia, by the name Slava Stepanov, has managed to take pictures of a Lenin-like forest in the form of satellite images through his drone, which he had seen on Google Maps years ago. Tyukalinsk town, situated next to the Kazakhstan border in the Omsk region, hosts the forest where it was probably planted in the 1970s. A forest is a strange way to remember Vladimir Lenin, the Russian revolutionary leader and the deity of the Soviet Union, after he died in 1924. From the ground, it looked like an ordinary forest planted by people. All the trees are lined up here, Stepanov stated. An aerial photograph from a drone shows that the name of the forest with the shape of Lenin is written in an 82-meter-high and 300-meter-long geoglyph. According to Stepanov, the 70s was the decade in which the trees were planted, and this commemoration was meant to show people's commitment to communism and mark an important Soviet event. There were so many celebrations in the USSR, but the two the people never missed were the birthday of Lenin and the October Revolution, he added. A source said that the Lenin-shaped forest was known to Sakhalinsk inhabitants, but they couldn't tell why it was made or at what time. It is possible that they were planted in that year, since 1970 would make Lenin 100 years old. Importance and accessibility of drones. These fascinating discoveries, along with the fact that drones have made it easier for researchers and explorers to do their work, are some examples of the great contributions made possible through the use of technology. This is why it can be said that drones help promote human knowledge on Earth unconventionally, by giving them the knowledge that they never had before, helping us see beyond what we normally see at any one time in space, and much more. Drones easily reach difficult locations and survey them, such as dense forests, mountains, or polar regions. Such places are mostly impenetrable for people. Natural disaster aftermaths like earthquakes, hurricanes, and floods, for example, can easily be assessed in terms of damages using drones, which further identify where survivors might be located and carry things needed for survival within a short period. When it comes to wildlife, drones are very helpful. Researchers use them for monitoring populations of different species, as well as studying how animals migrate or behave without getting in their way. Moreover, these devices help follow changes in nature, like cutting down trees or glaciers melting into the sea, which gives required information about global warming. Drones that have high-resolution cameras and LiDAR can be used in surveying archaeological sites or revealing any structures that are lying underground along with artifacts. Also, there are detailed aerial maps, as well as 3D models showing sites of great interest to archaeologists, enabling them to do documentation and conservation efforts. Drones are used by farmers for monitoring crop health, soil conditions, and water levels. This makes it easier for farmers to use fertilizers, pesticides, and water more efficiently. They also enable early detection of plant diseases and pest infestations, which helps in quick response. They help to map coral reefs as well as keep track of water pollution levels, thereby contributing to the conservation efforts of the ocean, while also helping to study sea creatures such as whales and sharks through capturing videos or even collecting some information.